Cats are independent, intelligent, and sometimes incredibly petty. Unlike dogs, who will forgive almost anything with a belly rub and a snack, cats hold grudges. If you do something they don't like, they won't just forget about it, they'll remember. And they'll make sure you remember too. Whether it's something small like waking them up from a nap or something big like breaking their trust, there are certain things cats will never forgive. Some of these might seem obvious, while others might make you realize you've already crossed the line. Stick around, because the last one is the ultimate betrayal in your cat's eyes. Let's start with one of the quickest ways to lose a cat's trust: forcing physical affection. 1. Forcing hugs and cuddles. We get it. You love your cat. They're soft, adorable, and sometimes you just want to scoop them up for a big hug. But here's the thing. Most cats hate that. Unlike dogs, cats don't show affection through restraint. They like affection on their terms. And if you constantly pick them up, hold them too long, or trap them in an unwanted cuddle session, they won't forget it. In their mind, you're not being affectionate, you're being threatening. Some cats tolerate it, but if your cat wriggles, pushes away, or flicks their tail, take the hint. Ignore those signs, and your cat might start avoiding you entirely. But if you think forcing cuddles is bad, let's talk about something even worse: betraying their trust. 2. Tricking them, especially with a trip to the vet. Your cat trusts you, or at least they did, until you tricked them. Maybe you lured them with treats just to stuff them in a carrier. Maybe you pretended to pet them, only to give them medicine. Whatever it was, your cat remembers. Cats are incredibly good at recognizing patterns. If you've ever tried to grab them for a vet visit, only for them to disappear the next time you even look at the carrier, that's why. They associate the experience with betrayal. So how do you avoid this? Simple. Make the carrier a positive place. Leave it out, let them explore it, and reward them when they go inside. And if you need to give them medicine, don't do it by tricking them. Hide it in food or use a gentle approach. Because once your cat decides you're untrustworthy, good luck earning that trust back. Now, speaking of betrayal, let's talk about one of the worst things you can do to your cat: ignoring their boundaries. 3. Ignoring their body language. Cats don't speak human, but they communicate loud and clear if you know how to listen. A flicking tail? That means they're irritated. Ears flattened? That's a warning. Hissing? That's your final chance to back off before they use claws to make their point. If you constantly ignore these signals, whether by petting them when they don't want it or invading their space, they won't just be annoyed. They'll start seeing you as someone they can't trust. And a cat that doesn't trust you is a cat that won't forgive you, ever. But if you think body language is important, wait until you hear what happens when you mess with their safe space. 4. Moving their stuff without permission. Imagine someone walking into your room and rearranging everything without asking. Frustrating, right? Well, that's exactly how your cat feels when you move their bed, litter box, or scratching post. Cats are territorial animals. They rely on scent and familiarity to feel safe. If you suddenly move their favorite sleeping spot, change their litter box location, or even wash their bed too often, they'll feel stressed, and they will hold it against you. So if you need to move something, do it gradually. Otherwise, you might find your cat protesting in ways you won't like. And speaking of litter boxes, let's talk about one of the biggest betrayals: neglecting their bathroom needs. 5. Neglecting the litter box. Cats are clean creatures. In the wild, they bury their waste to avoid attracting predators. So, when their litter box is full, dirty, or placed in a bad spot, it's not just unpleasant, it's stressful. If you don't clean their litter box regularly, your cat will notice. And if they feel like their bathroom isn't up to their standards, they might start using your stuff instead, like your bed, your laundry, or even your shoes. That's not just bad behavior, it's revenge. So, if you want to stay on your cat's good side, keep the litter box clean. Because once they decide it's unacceptable, getting them to use it again will be very difficult. Now, let's talk about a mistake that's not just annoying for your cat, but actually painful. 6. Cutting their whiskers or messing with them. A cat's whiskers aren't just for decoration. They're incredibly sensitive, helping them navigate tight spaces and detect changes in their environment. Cutting them off, or even trimming them, completely throws off their sense of balance and spatial awareness. If you ever thought about trimming a cat's whiskers, don't. It's one of the fastest ways to make them uncomfortable, stressed, and downright miserable. And even if you don't cut them, avoid constantly poking or touching their whiskers. It's like someone tapping you on the forehead over and over. It gets irritating fast. Now, let's move on to the ultimate betrayal, the one thing your cat will never forgive. 7. Yelling at them, or worse, using punishment. Cats don't respond to punishment the way dogs do. If you yell at a cat, spray them with water, or try to discipline them physically, they won't learn their lesson. They'll just learn to fear you. Cats associate negative experiences with people, not behaviors. So if you scream at them for scratching the furniture, they won't think, "Oh, I shouldn't scratch." They'll think, "Oh, this human is unpredictable and dangerous." The same goes for hitting, pushing, or using harsh discipline. Once a cat sees you as a threat, rebuilding that trust is nearly impossible. Instead of punishment, use redirection. Give them scratching posts instead of punishing them for using furniture. Reward good behavior instead of focusing on bad behavior. The key to a happy cat-human relationship isn't fear, it's trust. 8. Bringing home a new pet without warning. Cats are territorial, and in their minds, your home is their kingdom. So imagine their shock when you suddenly bring in a new cat, a dog, or any other animal without preparing them. To a cat, this isn't just an inconvenience, it's an invasion. Some cats might tolerate a new pet over time, but if you don't introduce them properly, they'll hold a serious grudge, not just against the new pet, but against you for allowing it. The key is to introduce new pets gradually. Let your cat adjust at their own pace, and don't force interactions. Otherwise, you might end up with a cat that never forgives you for ruining their peaceful life. 9. Neglecting playtime and mental stimulation. Cats may act independent, but they still need engagement. If you ignore them, never play with them, or leave them alone for long periods without entertainment, they'll start to feel frustrated and bored. And a bored cat? That's a recipe for mischief, or even resentment. If your cat starts destroying things, biting, or acting out, they might not be bad. They might just be holding a grudge because they're understimulated. Try scheduling short play sessions each day. A few minutes of chasing a toy or hunting a feather wand can make a huge difference in keeping your cat happy. 10. Taking them away from their favorite human. Ever noticed how some cats form strong bonds with just one person? If your cat has a favorite human, and that person suddenly disappears, whether it's a family member moving out, a breakup, or even you leaving for a long trip, your cat will notice. Cats don't just miss people, they feel abandoned when their favorite human is suddenly gone. And unfortunately, they may direct that frustration at whoever is still around. If you're leaving for a while, try to keep something familiar around, like an unwashed piece of clothing with your scent. And if a family member moves out, give your cat time to adjust, rather than expecting them to be okay right away. 11. Overbathing them. Cats are self-cleaning machines. Unlike dogs, they don't need regular baths. In fact, unless they're covered in something dangerous, bathing a cat is usually unnecessary, and to them, it's pure betrayal. A wet, stressed-out cat is a cat that remembers. If you bathe them too often or without good reason, they'll associate you with that awful experience and avoid you afterward. If your cat gets dirty, try using cat-safe wipes or just spot cleaning instead of a full bath. Your cat and your arms will thank you. 12. Loud noises and chaos in their space. Cats hate unpredictability. If your home is constantly full of loud noises like yelling, banging, or frequent arguments, your cat won't just be annoyed, they'll be stressed. While some cats adapt to noisy environments, most prefer a calm, stable space. If they associate you with constant noise and disruption, they may start avoiding you altogether. This also applies to sudden, loud sounds, like vacuum cleaners, hair dryers, or even sudden claps. If you need to use something loud, try warning your cat first or giving them a safe, quiet retreat. 13. Leaving them alone for too long. Cats act like they don't need us, but the truth is, they do. If you constantly leave them alone for long periods without interaction, they can feel abandoned. Some cats handle alone time better than others, but no cat wants to be ignored all the time. If you're away often, make sure your cat has engaging toys, a window perch for entertainment, or even a cat sitter if needed. Otherwise, they might not be too happy when you finally come back. So, now you know, cats never forget a betrayal, and some things can damage your bond with them permanently. From forcing cuddles and tricking them to ruining their routines and making them feel abandoned, these are the things that can turn a cat against you. But the good news? If you understand what makes cats tick, you can avoid these mistakes and keep their trust. Give them space, respect their needs, and make sure they feel safe. And your cat will love you for it. Now let's hear from you. Have you ever done something that made your cat hold a grudge? How did they react? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more cat-related content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.